to make sure that I didn't trip. Good morning. Good morning. All right, get this situated. All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. First off, thank you so much to the Press Club for this amazing invitation to come out and speak and be your guest speaker today. I had to look back. I had a couple of people reach out and say, have we ever had a Metro Councilman speak at the Press Club? And I said, I don't know. But guess what? I'll go do my best job. But no, this is an amazing opportunity. Once again, I am Councilman Anthony B. Kenney. I have been in the Metro Baton Rouge community my entire life. I am a proud son of Scotlandville, a proud son of North Baton Rouge. Just want to make sure. All right. Gotcha. Okay. No problem. No problem. All right, mic test 1, mic test 2. All right, I think we good. But no, once again, I am a proud son of North Baton Rouge, a proud son of Scotlandville, a proud son of District 2. My mom, who is here today, Miss Joyce Brule Kenney, she is a lifetime resident of District 2. And my parents used to always tell me about the Pinnacle, which is Scotlandville, Louisiana, which is the heart of District 2 near Southern University. She said these be grocery stores, shoe stores, everything that you need to have a thriving, holistic community. During my time at Southern University, I was the student body president for the Student Government Association, and during my time there, I learned the true essence of civic engagement, the true essence of giving back to the community. And during my time working in the legislature as a legislative assistant for former State Rep Ted James and current State Rep Vanessa Caston LaFleur, I knew one day I wanted to go into public service. I tell people I do not care to be called a politician. I care to be called a servant leader who is called to serve in the community. And so when I ran for office last year, a lot of people say, young man, do you really think you want to get in politics this late, right? They say I need more gray hair, I need a ring on my finger, right? I need all these things to be a status quo elected official. But I realized at that moment in time, there was no elected official in the city of Baton Rouge under the age of 30. From the school board to the Metro Council to the legislature in East Baton Rouge Parish perimeter, we had no elected official under the age of 30. So we asked any young person from the age of 18 years old when they register to vote all the way up to 30 years old, they have nobody in any elected official office that look like them or the same age as them. And so knowing and having counterparts across this country who are mayors, who are congressional members, who are legislative members, who are 25, 27, and 26 years old, I knew it was time to make sure I want to be a pillar here in East Baton Rouge Parish of young people to go out, not to just go vote, not to just register to vote, but to be an elected official here in East Baton Rouge Parish. And by the grace of God, I was elected this past December, and I tell people District 2 wanted to take the risk for the future. And my motto is the future is now, and I wanted to tell people in this community that the young people want to lead the way. And I have to be the individual to open the door for young people in East Baton Rouge Parish to know they can be elected official at the age of 25, 26, 28 years old. I was up for the task. And so during my time, these last couple of 8 months, we have had an amazing jump start to the year. Being from this actual community, being from Scotlandville, Louisiana, and District 2, everybody's like family. And so one of the things we really wanted to push in District 2 is pushing economic development, workforce development, youth programming, and also as well addressing crime in our community through youth programming and resources. So as talking about economic development, Scotlandville is one of the key pillars in the community. When people talk about North Baton Rouge, I look at Scotlandville as uptown Baton Rouge. You have South Baton Rouge, but I think Scotlandville is the uptown Baton Rouge. Southern University is the only historical black college and university system in the entire world. But there is no immediate grocery store within 15, 20 minutes of the institution. So you think about generational students. For me, I graduated from Southern University in spring of 19, and during that time, none of my classmates understood when they came from these bigger cities why there's no immediate grocery store in Scotlandville, Louisiana. So when I ran for council person, one of the things I wanted to make sure, and I gave a charge to Mayor Sid Edwards' office, we need a grocery store and more economic development in North Baton Rouge and Scotlandville. My goal during my time as Metro Council person is to ensure by the time I am finished in this role, I want to ensure there's a grocery store in every corner of District 2. In my District 2, I also have the City of Baker as well. The City of Baker has multiple grocery stores, including the Walmart. So when you're thinking about grocery store, areas like Scotlandville, Louisiana is prime for growth and economic development. And we believe in Scotlandville, Louisiana, we need more catalytic investments and more catalytic projects that would show people the growth is here in Scotlandville. And so we believe catalytic projects such as a grocery store, catalytic projects such as brand new open air commerce will invite business owners, will invite investment into the community and say, we want to grow here in Scotlandville. And so over the next couple of years, we're looking at various catalytic projects from a grocery store to a new shopping strip in Scotlandville, Louisiana, but also as well ensuring that the resources from the federal level, state level, and the local level, especially from our Office of Community Development, we're intertwining these resources to ensure not just new business coming to the area, but that we are supporting current and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to grow their business in Scotlandville, Louisiana, in North Baton Rouge and District 2. I always tell anybody in any setting, any child, any family should feel comfortable to live in any corner of the parish. Not just as a certain corner of the parish, but any corner of the parish, including North Baton Rouge. And so our goal in my office to ensure that anybody who want to live a thriving and invited community can do it in District 2 and Scotlandville and North Baton Rouge. Workforce development is something that we're thinking about the future in Louisiana and the United States, but more importantly, Baton Rouge, we have to identify how do we create individuals starting high school, middle school to be interested in going to the workforce. Two of my main targets is Scotlandville High School and Baker High School. Currently, I serve as the chairman of the Scotlandville High School PAC Advisory Board. Scotlandville is one of the only nationally recognized workforce development school sites under the NAP system. NAP is a nationally accredited workforce development system where schools can go into with engineering, law and government, finance, and IT. And Scotlandville currently has been recognized as a model school for the last 5 years. This past summer, we went to Denver, Colorado. We went to the National Conference for NAP, where Scotlandville is under. And Scotlandville has received accolades for the last 5 years for the work, internships, and the turnaround and conversion of these students going down these paths of workforce development. Baker High School, which is in the city of Baker, we're currently collaborating with the city of Baker, the city of Baker schools, and Helix Community Schools to put a workforce development site on the campus of Baker High School. Most recently, Baker is now operating under Helix Community Schools in partnership with the school system and the charter school system. But we want to ensure we leverage this new opportunity with the charter school system to bring workforce development opportunities in the city of Baker. There is no workforce development training sites, anything within the perimeter of Scotlandville, Louisiana, and Baker. And so we want to ensure that in collaboration with the school systems, that we're going on the actual campus of these students. So when in the morning time, they can take classes in CTE and work training, but also we want to innovate, and in the evening time, we can open up the doors of this workforce development facility and have individuals who are grown adults who may want to get more trade, who want to get more training outside of 9 to 5, and they can come to Baker High School and receive training and trades within their actual community. So we want to make sure individuals can get this training, not just on the other side of town, but at the doorstep of their own actual community. Now, in Scotlandville, North Baton Rouge, we have a blight issue. Oftentimes, a lot of people say, why are so many abandoned buildings, abandoned homes? Over these last 8 months, we have heard everything you can think about blight. But my office want to be very aggressive with blight. But being very aggressive is making sure not only we're holding elected officials and city parish accountable, but we're holding these individuals who have these homes for plenty of years, who did have no work, no renovations to their homes. Now, initially, when they called our office, we sent a notice to their home that their home will be condemned. They reached out to our office. Our goal is to ensure what gaps are there right now that are stopping you from renovating your home. Is it a resource gap? Is it a time gap? Is it a capital gap? Or is it just overall, you just don't have time? And what we're noticing with a lot of these families, a lot of kids are succeeding these homes for their grandparents and parents who passed away and did not have a lot of time to do a will, or they have the opportunity to do a will. So now the kids in succession battle, kids don't live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana no more, but now they're responsible due to the succession of the home coming into their name. And so when they get the notice, it's not they never did have any intent to do anything with the home, but now they have a sentimental kind of value to the home now because they don't want to get rid of it. So we want to make sure we are collaborating and communicating with these families in these situations, understand that we have to hold our nephews, our neighbors, our aunts, our uncles, anybody in our families who have the possession of these homes accountable for what's going on. Because you have the side of the sentimental value of keeping a home, but also you have the other side of the neighborhood who wants to ensure that their home values does not go down because of blighted homes on the end of their streets. And so you have to have a compromise to where the owners of these homes have to be educated about the blight and 311 process. City parents have a very, very streamlined process, and we're working to make sure we're educating all of our constituents, all of our neighbors about this process as well. A house cannot be knocked down tomorrow, but if you do your proper 311 due diligence, reach out to my office, have your work number, work order number. We're going to ensure that we communicate with the Blight and DPW department about these homes being in the system so we can make sure there's no overgrown vegetation in our neighborhoods, but also as well, these blighted homes have to come down. Then you have to think about how can we intertwine grant funding, because you have a lot of individuals who want to develop these homes into student housing, who want to develop these homes into multi-family housing as well. Southern University currently has a student housing issue that has been perplexing them for various years. And so one of my goals is to collaborate with the university to build more student housing in District 2 in Scotlandville. We want to make sure that students be able to live, eat, and play in Scotlandville and District 2. Oftentimes we think about leakage of dollars, right? Leakage of tax dollars. They're taking all those dollars to the other side of town because they have the feel of a college town near LSU, off of Nicholson, off of College Drive, off of Holly Road. And you can't blame them, because you have students who are coming from bigger metropolitan cities. And so when they come to Baton Rouge, when their parents bring them here, they want to ensure that their students dropped off somewhere, that they are fine when they leave them, when its welcome week is over, when move-in is over. So we want to ensure not only the student housing piece, we are collaborating with the university, but also as well, we're collaborating with new businesses to come into the area and understand, you know, you have a campus of 8,000 students in addition to anybody who lives in Scotlandville, and we have to understand how can we collaborate, how can we bring more investment so students can spend money in Scotlandville, that tax dollars can come back to Scotlandville, so we can ensure that those dollars can go back to development, can go back to new housing projects, and most importantly, show there are tax incentives in Scotlandville. There's a benefit and not a risk to laying a business in Scotlandville, Louisiana. Now, we all understand crime is a very serious issue here in East Baton Rouge Parish. My office, we are dedicating our time to ensure we put more youth programming and wraparound services in District 2 North Baton Rouge. I am currently over the Jewel J. Newman Community Center. It is the biggest community center in East Baton Rouge Parish upon all the council members. And so we want to ensure not only there is programming for the elderly through our council and aging, but we want to have robust programming for young people in the area as well. When we got to the Jewel J. Newman Community Center, there was great programming through Council 85 seniors, but we saw a gap of a least amount of programs for our young people. And so most recently this past summer, we kicked off a Jewel J. Newman STEM Exploration Camp. And so that camp brought in 40 students from District 2 in North Baton Rouge over an 8-week period to learn about leadership skills, STEM and social skills, because we believe we can catch a child earlier as 5th grade, 4th grade, you can put that child on a great trajectory to be successful. And so we want to make sure this is a family-grown program. This camp was previously existed prior to me coming to the office for a period of time and went away. But we wanted to be very aggressive and put a landmark and say, you know what, we need to bring these programs back. Also in the coming weeks as well, we'll be jump-starting off our own Youth Leadership Academy and Council. We believe even outside of the summertime programming, you need year-round leadership development programming for young people in the community. So we're looking to bring in 57 graders and seniors in high school to come in for a year-long cohort course of understanding leadership development, public speaking skills, exposure, because a lot of kids in North Baton Rouge do not get a lot of exposure beyond their neighborhood. And so we want to ensure through my council office, we're exposing any student who walk the halls in District 2, go to school in District 2 in North Baton Rouge, that there is life beyond this District 2. There is life beyond Baton Rouge. But as a council person, I want to ensure the resources that I bring to my community goes to a youth programming so they don't have to be in the streets. They don't have to commit to crime. Now, the other side of it is making sure at the Jewel J. Newman Community Center in my office, we're providing resource and access to wraparound services, right? Mental health, education, and workforce development. And when we're talking about those other key points, especially workforce development, we want to partner with pre-existing organizations and programs who have proven to do the work in Baton Rouge and bring them to District 2 and bring them an exposure to those that live in District 2 so we're not reinventing the wheel. The biggest thing in our office, our motto is unity and collaboration. And unity is what's going to bring everybody across this district into one straight line path to how we want to envision District 2 to be like. And we believe that brings more investment and more opportunities instead of spending time reinventing the wheel. Also, infrastructure. Infrastructure is a pretty big deal in North Baton Rouge. A lot of people say North Baton Rouge has been under-resourced infrastructure-wise. So one of the things we're working on with the Move EBR project is addressing a light issue in the community and road and pavement improvement projects. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be sending a proposal from my office to every corner of the district. Each council member is allocated $1 million to the Move EBR project. And so we're submitting proposals so we can address lighting in the community and road issues as well. Now, during my time on the council, we have a very good and balanced council, in my personal opinion. Coming on the first couple months, I had a lot of experienced council members I was able to meet with, talk with, get a lot of great advice from, and I believe every other 11 council person on that council brings something different to the table. Where it's expertise, law expertise, entrepreneurship expertise. I believe this council is very well balanced, in my opinion. All of them bring a lot of different knowledge to the table. And I think we understand, regardless of what district that you're representing, that we have to make sure we're tackling the issues of East Baton Rouge Parish and also making sure our districts are getting a proper resource and representation as well. Now, in my first couple months, I wanted to make sure with legislation and ordinances, I collaborate and do cross-collaboration with other council members. So also I can understanding the learning curve of learning about how to pass an ordinance, right? Community engagement around it. So in my very first month, I collaborated with Councilman Rodrigo Day. We did an ordinance around broadband expansion in rural areas. In my area, District 2, I have a lot of rural area as well. So we want to ensure we open that door to broadband companies to come in and collaborate and bring more resources to our districts. Also last month, with Councilman Dwight Hudson, we noticed an uptick of businesses selling alcohol to minors in the community. In my area, we had a lot of people send us complaints about gas stations and business owners selling alcohol to underage minors. And so myself and Councilman Hudson, we collaborate on an ordinance that increased the fine and penalties of those who break the infraction of selling alcohol to minors in the community. In other areas that we saw, for example, Alaska, they charged $20,000 as a penalty for those that break that law and that break that ordinance. So we said we need to be more aggressive about it. We need to send a strong message, but we have to also make sure, as a challenge to the ABC board, you are educating these business owners, right? You're letting them know about the resources that is around to help make sure they're not giving minors alcohol in our community. That provides a public safety issue. That provides a overall youth issue. And you have to understand, you're in proximity to a major university, especially in my district. And so you don't want underage college students getting access to alcohol from these stores, getting on the streets, going to drive, causing wrecks, or ultimately can kill themselves as well. So we want to make sure we're being proactive, but we're sending a strong message to business owners that selling alcohol to minors is a no-go, and they have to be very cognizant about how to do that process and ensuring the proper identification is given, and the proper representation of somebody who come into their liquor store or come into their store selling alcohol, they are able to identify this person's age. And ultimately, going forward, District 2 is a place that we're looking at a lot of growth. I tell people my office wants to be very aggressive of bringing the community together. As we talked about, we want to be ambassadors for this community. We want to be the one to tell the story about District 2 and what we're able to do. And also as well, we want to ensure that the community, there's a fresh, new, vibrant energy that is coming to North Baton Rouge, Uptown Baton Rouge as well. Speaking of youth programming, we want to make sure we'll be a resource to kids going to college. Recently, we kicked off in the earlier part of the year a Pass the Torch scholarship that we awarded 4 students throughout District 2 a $1,000 scholarship. Even though that may be a small seed to a lot of people now with rising loans and school tuitions, right? But that's showing our council office want to plant a positive seed into young people's lives. And so when they look back, when they graduate, when they're going to be a lawyer, a doctor, even a councilman, right? They can look back and say, no, my councilman planted a positive seed into my life. And so we're very excited about the plans and going forward for District 2. We're looking forward to work not with just the Metro Council, but our current mayor, president, a lot of amazing projects that will be coming up. But overall, we want to ensure not only we're protecting East Baton Rouge Parish and serving East Baton Rouge Parish, but individually as District 2, we're ready to move District 2 forward. We're ready not to have the same narrative in District 2 in Scotlandville and North Baton Rouge the next couple of years, because we want to make sure when we're done in this role, regardless it's 4 years, 8 years, or 12 years, we're ensuring that we can look back and say we brought progress to District 2 in North Baton Rouge. So thank you all so much for this opportunity. I'm going to open up the floor for questions at this time, and we'll just go from there. Yes, sir.
How do you feel about the alcohol
So I think there's a lot of layers to that. Thank you for that question. There's a lot of layers to that question. I believe we have to make sure we're holding these business owners who have these event venues, right, who have these clubs and have these bars to ensure that you're maximizing security. Security is not having a random person like a football player put on a shirt that you got from Walmart that says security with a police badge, right? You have to ensure you have the proper security, which is the sheriff department, BRPD, and more. Now, there was an issue recently. There's an after-hours spot to where certain clubs open from 3 a.m. to almost 6 a.m. in the morning, right? After the regular hours normal establishment do. Now, yeah, and I think a lot of these business owners are finding loopholes around it, right? So if you have a bar license, you have to close your establishment by 2 p.m. But what I think the loophole a lot of these businesses are doing now, they're not applying for a bar license, but they're opening up their facilities for a party or X, Y, and Z, and they're inviting people to say BYOB, bring your own beverage, right? Beer, right? And so that is how they're trying to get around it. But I do believe we're also working alongside VRPD and other law enforcement agencies about conversations about the curfew for young people. So I think that was an issue a couple months ago where a 15-year-old killed a young lady in front of one of these venues, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And he had an automatic rifle. And so we want to ensure we are being proactive. No young person should be out there late at night, right? Adults, adults are adults, but young people should not be out there day and night. But I do believe that's a conversation with the ABC board.
Why can't we let them all? I mean, we don't need these clubs, do we? That's just circumvent the law.
Well, I think I don't want to throw a blanket over everybody. I think some establishments follow what they need to do, follow the proper guidelines. It's the ones, the bad actors, who have these establishments, right, who look at the dollar over public safety, that we have to continue just being hard on them, right? I know there's some parameters around you can't really shut down certain businesses if they don't have a bar license, but we're working diligently with BRPD to address those loopholes so we can ensure even if somebody want to have an event that late at night, they need to have maximum security. At my center, if somebody wants to have a social event or a party, right? And some people have birthday parties, some people have celebrations, right? And it'd be 7 to like midnight. But we want to ensure, like our goal is to make sure you have any event that has alcohol, anything of that nature, you have maximum security at all times.
I think we made too many of these. We had one on Choctaw, another one on Plank Road. Get out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
What is your assessment of the police department currently and the status of how they are caring for your district?
So I would say for my district, so my district has a combination of BRP and the sheriff's office. I have the precinct number 4, so Captain Burkett, he is a newly precinct captain in District 2 in Scotlandville. He's been very responsive. He just got on the job a couple months ago because the previous captain retired like in March and April, in that range. We're looking at the high density areas. So currently right now, we're in the middle of a series called Revitalizing the Avenues Community Weekend. And so in the Avenues, which is to the right side of Southern University, I don't know if people familiar with the Blue Store, Triplets Blue Store. And so, but that has been a high density area for crime. And so we wanted to make sure in our community weekend, we're addressing those root cause issues. We're telling neighbors they have to be our, I don't say watchdogs, but they have to be our eyes and ears on the streets, right? You know, these kids, where we're seeing juveniles commit a lot of crime, we need to figure out why are they out this time of night, right? Why are they at home? But most importantly, what do we need to do to keep them in some structured programming and keep them out the streets? And so today we're doing a walk with the mayor's office, BRP and other law enforcement agencies, and we're actually going to walk into these neighborhoods in person with BRPD, with the sheriff's office, and so we want to not only say we have a police presence, that's not the goal, but we want to show community engagement and ask these questions to neighbors in the community who may not want to call a police officer, right? Or have that face-to-face conversation, say, hey, you know what, Councilman, hey, Mayor, President, this is what I'm seeing in the community. This is where we need to focus at. But we are collaborating with BRPD and the sheriff's office to target those high crime areas and making sure more patrolling in the areas as well. Some business owners are also asking about more cameras, right? If you haven't been to BRPD, they have their 24/7 watch lab, right? We have various cameras across the community, and I think they do a very good job because a lot of these businesses have seen a decrease in crime with more surveillance around that business or area as well. So we want to make sure we're looking at every angle. I don't believe in over-policing. I believe good community policing is the right way to go, but also as well putting more proactive resources to crime prevention and intervention, right? There are a lot of programs that East Baton Rouge Parish and City Parish has done prior and currently around crime prevention and violence prevention. So we believe those programming, right, where you have, for example, there's a brotherhood circle, a lot of community centers do, where you invite young men in that juvenile crime age range, right, from 12 to 17 years old, to come and have a real conversation. In a lot of those conversations, we're inviting those who have been through the system before, who is reformed, right, who is good, upstanding citizens in society, who went down that path. So they can actually talk to individuals who was 15, 16 years old that probably robbed a corner store, right? Probably young and dumb, but they have changed their life for the better. So it's a multi-pronged approach. I don't think crime is a magic wand that you fix, but I do think good collaboration with all of our law enforcement agencies and making sure with City Parish we're allocating resources to good programming and preventative programming. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what the truancy rates are at these two high schools that you're focusing on?
I don't know the exact truancy rates, but I can get that information for you and we can have some more conversation. But I know our Superintendent Lamont Cole is looking at various ways to try to combat truancy. I think they say our school system has one of the highest truancy rates, unfortunately. But I think he's looking to collaborate with council members in the local high schools to try to combat those truancy issues.
Well, you as a young person,
Yes, ma'am.
can really relate to those people who are not going to school. But according to the superintendent, you know, it starts even in junior high. So it's just a point of view.
Absolutely, and I think our superintendent is great. He's a former council person, right? And so he understands the duality of how can we intersect and collaborate the Metro Council, City Parish with the school system. And so I'm gonna definitely look forward to working with him to combat truancy. So that's why with these programming, you know, not only addresses the child, but it addresses the parents. And I think, you know, when you address the gaps, the systemic issue that start in the household, you'll start seeing a lot of those truancy rates, crime, and things of that nature slowly dwindle down. No problem. Yes, sir.
What is the story behind the donation from City National Bank on City Highway to Southern University? I was there yesterday. I was also in the Avenues yesterday. You got a real problem, right, with that AAA store. We got blocked on the road, and they wouldn't let us through yesterday. But what's the story with the City National Bank building? And 3 or 4 drug people just sitting around yesterday, just one of them not doing too well at all. What's that all about?
So the City National Bank, which is right there across from the student apartments, I believe, not too far from the student apartments. They used to be the former ticket store for Southern University, but we are collaborating with the Southern University Foundation. The foundation actually owns the bank, and so we're looking to attract any developers to really turn it into something. Recently as well with Bill Baton Rouge, who owns the land across from it, the Shadow location. We're looking at how can we collaborate and put a vision on how can we turn it back into commerce, right? Can we turn it into a restaurant, coffee shop? But, you know, that goes back to the blight conversation. You know, we have to turn these blighted buildings back into commerce. And so we're working with the foundation to try to identify developers and investors. I can say as of today, without going further detail, there are some people that are interested in a lot of the land and a lot of the buildings that Southern University Foundation owns, because they have a land bank just like Bill Baton Rouge. And so that City National Bank is in that land bank. And so we're looking to try to attract some investors to redevelop it into something that can really benefit the community.
Whoever has it now is certainly not managing it well at
Yeah.
all, and I thought you were going to donate that to the North Baton Rouge Economic Development District. What happened there?
Well, see, I'm not privy to that conversation. A lot of those things was prior to me taking office. But I can ensure we have a good working relationship with the Economic Development District. So we'll communicate with them and see what was that about. I'm not aware about it. I'm not going to lie about it. But I can ensure I can have a conversation and see what was it about, why did it stop, and what can we do going forward to get it back into commerce. But like I said, there has been conversation between my office and the Southern University Foundation that owns that old city bank to try to attract developers to put it back into commerce. Because that very same bank is almost the same size as the staffs. The building the staff on Jefferson Highway is currently in. So we're looking at how can we do how staffs turn that bank on Jefferson Highway into a staff's restaurant, similarly, and use that same infrastructure. So if you look at both buildings, Staffs turned their bank on Jefferson Highway to an actual restaurant they're currently in now. Yes, sir.
A long way to go to get staffed.
But we'll start somewhere. It may not be a staff, but we'll definitely start somewhere. So we want to be very aggressive at how we reimagine it, but we want to make sure it's something that can benefit the community, but also the university community as well. Yes, sir.
Give us an idea of what ideally your district would look like in your third term by the time you become 40 years old, whichever that is.
Yeah, 12 years of load size. I will be 40, but God said it's after 12 years. My vision of this district, it'd be a district that economic development is flowing. For example, Schuylerville. My vision for Schuylerville, once I'm finished 12 years, it has multiple grocery stores, right? It's a good combination of new investment businesses and also mom and pop businesses as well. The mom and pop businesses are the one that has been the anchor for that community for a very long time. I do believe new infrastructure and new facade can be done to a lot of businesses in the area. I think the community has been asking for a lot of things for a very long time. There's a lot of master plans, there's a lot of plans, so now it's the execution. So by the time my 12 years is over, execution is going to show you're going to have multiple grocery stores, right? You're going to have multiple restaurants, but you're really going to have something that the university can say their students can live, eat, and play in Schuylerville, Louisiana. I say a thing, we want to make Scenic Highway more scenic, right? So when you drive down Scenic Highway, you're coming for a football game, you're able to eat, live, get a drink, anything entertainment in Schuylerville in that community. So by the time my 12 years is older, I want to make sure my future kids are able to say, Dad, I love living in Schuylerville because I can walk outside my door, go to a grocery store, right? Go to a coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks or 7 Brew, but really have everything within a thriving community that needs. So I really think Schuylerville for sure, we're going to be a very economic development story. A lot of people are impressed about the city of Baker. Baker has been a long-standing municipality in the city as well. My goal is to support their economic development projects. Right now, ready at the wheel. I think Baker has kind of, swung a lot and trying to live and learn about how, as an independent municipality, how can we be more intentional about economic development? Because when you pass through Baker, either going to Zachary, East Feliciana, Clinton, right? But how, as a student, if I live in Baker, Louisiana, same thing in Schuylerville, how can I live, eat, and play in Baker, Louisiana? And then on the other side, I have the north of the Combie River, which is the other side of Plague Road before Zachary. There as well, a lot of economic development, right? There's a lot of abandoned storefronts in the area. So my goal is to make sure there's no abandoned storefronts. There's better lighting in the community, but overall, every part of that district is a thriving community where your roads are better, your lighting is better. And I tell people, this area has been neglected longer I have been alive, right? So my expectation, I cannot fix 50 years of neglect, but I could be a bridge to ensure that community has what it needs so it'll look like it did 30 years ago. Yes, sir.
With all the hopping about right now about life, I was a public servant, I was a citizen service for years. How does Schuylerville stand right now as far as abandoned property, abandoned lots, abandoned houses? How does it stand right now compared to the whole parish?
So my area, and I think 2 other districts have the highest areas of blight. We are being very aggressive in holding our constituents accountable, right? Our goal right now, because we have a lot of blight, a lot of individuals who homes was, they was given more time. Some people had almost up to 2 years, right? So this before my getting to office, people have been getting extensions, but the house still looked the same that it did in 2023. And so we're making sure we'll be more intentional. When people reach out to my office, we'll give you one extension. That's to show that we care. But after that, you cannot provide the proper documentation that you're going to do the work, that a contract is going out, is going to get demoed. And so we want to make sure we are streamlining it. Our blight department does a good job identifying and going out, letting us know these houses are not in good shape. So we want to make sure that work does not go in vain. Now, there are certain independent situations, right? And some people's houses might be blight. They get that notice. It comes to our office, and they fix it. And within the next week or 2. But you have a lot of people, I would say, hold these homes hostage because they have sentimental value, but don't have the capital to support it. They don't have the access to grant funding to support it. So they're just holding it there, just hoping something will fall out of the sky. So we're going to support them, put the resources in front of them the best way we can, but we're not going to hold a community hostage with a blighted house that's going to bring the value of our neighborhoods down. So this year as well, we're getting to know a lot of constituents they're understanding our process, because there was not no definite process in the District 2 Council office before pertaining from blight, condemn, and to be demoed. But we're making sure we're streamlining that, because one of the biggest things, our goal is to make sure our conversion rate from when it be condemned to demo is
Boy,
better.
I think they know about it right now. Back then, if you drop the ball, they don't know about it.
Right.
And if you don't follow up and put a lien on the property, it'll stay there forever.
Correct.
Good job.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So there was an amazing gentleman from Ratio Isidore,
Yes.
and he had Southern Coast Bay, and it had to close. So we can comment on that.
It's very unfortunate. He was a pillar in the community. I know now he has landed in Mid-City, downtown. He's doing amazing. It goes back to without going too down a rabbit hole. There was a lot of projects prior to me that was supposed to get off the ground. Unfortunately, to external issues, investigations, whatever you may say, right? It's in the news out there, right? Has held a lot of projects in Scottsdale hostage, or how it held them back per se. And so my job is working with the mayor's office, our office of community development, the new administration, to untangle those weeds. Because the biggest thing is we want to make sure small business owners like Horatio is not caught being moved out of District 2 in North Baton Rouge due to rising rent costs, right? But a lot of the rising rent costs is because those who own those actual buildings are open air commerce, right? They're ready for funding, they're ready for support. So now to make ends meet or to try to make their bottom line meet, they got to overtax their tenants. And so we want to make sure the new developments that we do, it makes sense, that is thorough, that is clean, that is audited, everything of that nature. Because the biggest thing our office want to do, anytime you put a shovel in the ground in District 2, it has to be sustainable. And so a lot of projects in the community has been as like a promise, but it has not been sustainable. And so he was unfortunately he was in a part of an unsustainable commerce project that's currently tied up in a lot of different issues right now. But our goal is to make sure, because the very same area that he's in right now is still blighted, right? Nobody's in it, it's still open. And so we don't want that to be the reoccurring cycle of small business owners who are excited to be in Scotlandville become a victim to rising rent costs due to external reasons beyond their control. Yes, ma'am. We do miss him though. We miss him. I remember I was in grad school going to Southern, he was open and it was a very popular spot. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Silverleaf and East Upland, do you know where that is?
Yes.
Do you know what's there?
Ask Silverleaf and Upland.
It's the middle of a beautiful subdivision, and it's at least a dozen cars up on blocks that being worked on. It's horrible.
So we're working on ordinances. Currently, just like I said earlier, about addressing that issue. And for example, in Baton, Louisiana, they're currently passing an ordinance that you cannot work on cars in front of your house. Some people, you have some individual circumstances to where, like, say you get a flat and you take your daughter brings the car to your house, right, to change the wheel, right? That'll take no more than an hour at max. But some people are keeping those cars, for example, like they're in their yards, and they bring down the value in the community. So we're looking into that. The tire removal one is the first step, because we have a lot of tire shops that are coming to North Baton Rouge. They're currently piling tires in front of their businesses, and they make an entire area look bad. So you're attracting bugs, you're attracting insects into the area, trapped water. And so we want to make sure in our tire ordinance that we're currently about to have for public hearing on Wednesday, you cannot have more than 5 tires, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tires in front of your establishment. And so that's the first step. Our next step is addressing those car issues for the Grand East Baton Rouge Parish.
Do you really think $50 is enough for the tire fund as part of that ordinance?
We'll look into that. So this ordinance is one of the phases. So Councilman Darrell Hurst for District 5, this is the first phase of it. Because we want to make sure, just like the ABC board is an entity that regulate our business owners with alcohol, he wants to create an entire board strictly for tire regulation and those type of regulation costs in front of people's homes as well. So this is the first step. So we're looking at bringing more legislation to add on to the one we have a public hearing on Wednesday.
I think $50 is way too cheap for one of those tires. I've counted thousands of tires on the report I gave to the mayor last month.
So I'll definitely bring that feedback back to him, and we can look to see as we add more phases to the ordinance. Look at that fine and see if that's enough or not. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Broom, and possibly the mayor before that, worked really, really hard to try to get
So in 2025, no. The most recent study was done toward the latter part of 2024 before I got into office. So that is the data we're currently using to leverage in conversations with local grocers who potentially want to come in. That has been work on a project prior to me coming in that has rolled over for a grocery store project off of Howard Boulevard. We're working closely with the mayor's office to ensure it's a thorough project. Of course, our administration was not the one that brought the project or, players to the table. So we want to ensure with those at the table, this is a thorough project. Now, there is a new development, a housing development that's going to come off of 72nd, which is on the other side of Howard Place. And so it'll be some new senior living housing that was recently approved last week at the Planning and Zoning Commission. So yes, I don't think new data will be done right now. Eventually it will, because there is new development coming in the area, especially a big push for student housing. But right now we're leveraging the data for 2024 that Mayor Broom's administration currently did. And so we're making sure the mayor has committed to put a grocery store in Scotlandville. Committed. So what we want to make sure whatever we do is a thorough, clean project. I don't believe in just cutting ribbons. I believe in making sure after we cut the ribbon, we can come 4 years later and be proud of this grocery store still being here and not turn to another blighted building. No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Kenney. The press club will not be meeting next week because it is Labor Day. And on September 15th, our speaker will be the LSU interim president, Dr. Matt Lee. And on September 29th, our speaker will be, nice follow-up for you, Mr. Kenney, will be Mayor Sid Edwards on September 29th. So be sure to join us every Monday, and especially those Mondays.